Hey guys, this episode is sponsored by Infused Productions. They are a lifestyle brand out of Western Mass that specialize in cannabis events that create moments that last a lifetime. You can find them on Facebook, IG, or on the web at Infused Productions. Make sure to spell Infused with a Z. And make sure to catch one of their events in Western Mass that they throw monthly. The next one up is the Homie Collective Campout, August 24th through 27th at Franklin County Fairgrounds in Greenfield, Mass. Hopefully see y'all there. Now let's get back into it. Hey guys, thanks for checking out the Bucked Up Podcast. If you don't mind hitting the like and subscribe button, we have 2 new episodes coming out every week. Now let's get into it. And we're live. We're not live. We're at Fenway Park recording an episode of Bucked Up with Tuesdaynyt.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having me. You're the one performing.
Most awkward guy on earth. Let's do this.
How do you feel? How do you feel about to perform at Fenway?
Fucking awesome. I need Jameson immediately.
You need Jameson.
Jameson is going to help with this. My boy needs the sauce as well.
Yeah, I could use one.
Jameson is your guys' drink.
Yeah.
Why? It's so harsh.
Sweet nectar.
Sweet nectar. Are you Irish?
Yes.
Very little.
You just, it's not even in the genetics.
That's where I got this tan, my Irish heritage.
I feel like I can't ask you because you said you are tan.
Yeah.
I can't be like, what are you? That's how we're...
I'm all things, I don't know. Got a bunch of shit mixed in.
We are on the Green Monster right now.
Hell yeah.
You grew up in Worcester?
Yep.
So did you ever think this was gonna be a thing?
Hell no. No, this is awesome. We played across the street at House of Blues before, but never obviously here. This is crazy. I've been to a concert here once, but
who did you see?
Foo Fighters.
Okay,
Which was cool.
I don't realize how big bands actually are.
I wouldn't have guessed Pink still existed, and she sold
Two
the shit out
2 nights in a row.
That's crazy.
2 nights in a row. Quick question about being on the Green Monster. What is Wally?
I'm not
I
the
think he's
guy.
a monster.
Yeah.
He's just like a random ass monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know what he's supposed to. A green monster? Like, what the hell is he supposed
They really take liberties with some things. Like the Philadelphia Fanatic.
The Fanatic? Yeah.
He just looks like an aardvark or an anteater.
I think the best one is the Colts horse. Have you seen any videos with that thing?
No, I don't think
Oh, he always does some real sexual shit. It's fucking, a lot of groin work.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You don't think you'd be allowed to do that nowadays?
I don't know.
I feel like Wally's family friendly.
I guess. I don't know. This is...
And I haven't
Finally
seen the dude in a while.
something.
Yeah. So alright, I do want to give the intro of how you guys are, why I'm having it with both of you guys. Kip, one of my favorite artists. One of the first guests ever on the podcast. Joe, new friend.
Yes.
Well, semi-new friend.
Yeah.
And you guys have a company together. Tuesdaynyt that you just started.
Yeah, we do.
And started talking about it like a year ago, and I don't even know how the hell we got
I think it just kind of happened
It might have been, honestly, it was meta, I think.
Yeah.
Truly, was when,
I think that, and we were talking about you were asking why I didn't put art on shirts and shit, and you're like, I could help you out with it, and I was like, well, I would appreciate it. And then we also started talking about records, and it just kind of kept spiraling to where why don't we actually do something?
And you were saying that merch has kept you going
Oh yeah.
for a long ass time.
Yeah, that's in rock world. It's pretty much survive off of merch and stuff like that. And then just from doing it for years, we had done so many vinyl for ourselves that it sort of at least had some understanding of production of vinyl and all that sort of stuff. So, and then what started us really getting into it was him doing the cover for Eddie and Rim for Meta, and then it didn't get picked up for a vinyl release, which that record was awesome. And
Dope ass record, dope ass cover.
I know. So not seeing it, and then we started just being like, I wish someone would just do this, because I would love to have his first actual even digital cover, but on a 12-inch.
Yeah.
And how does it feel to actually have your first one out?
Stressful as hell. It was a crazy process, but it was fun. I'm super happy that Eddie and Rim gave us a shot to prove we could do it without knowing we could do it. So
What's the difference between rock releases, vinyl-wise, and rap releases?
I think just how we do a record every 3 years. So for this lane, it's just crazy, like how much actual material people put out in like such a crazy amount of time. So I don't know, like by the time we are done with this, it's like dude's already on to the next project and on to the next project. So I don't know. For us, it was just like the whole timing of the thing, and it was weird just because the whole project for them was already a year old. We released it almost a year to the date that it came out originally, and that was kind of our goal. And so our first goal we achieved, and setting for some other stuff coming up.
Why are releases for rock slower? Like, why is the output of music every 3 years release a record instead of like 3 records in a year?
I don't know. I can speak for us. I think it's like at a studio you're recording. First, you gotta write and record all the drums, guitar, bass, vocals, everything. Where that at least most people are working with other producers and stuff. So it's like you're skipping sort of the whole music end of things as far as like someone else wrote that, and then you're just focusing heavily on like lyrics and stuff like that. So I think it's like just frees up way more opportunity, especially for someone that's like on the grind, just I'm sure writing constantly. So for us, it's just way different. Where it's like,
it's like one person versus like a team of something to put together.
The back and forth of everyone writing together.
It's like you could put together a comedy movie, and then or you can do stand-up.
Yeah.
And like stand-up's just me. It's like on the end of the day, it's on the back of me. It's not like I have to wait on this person to do this job and that person to do that job. You were talking about, and I am going to get to you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry that you're sitting over there.
Just watch it.
It is crazy that we're here, right?
It's fucking insane.
How does it feel for you knowing he's performing here when you were saying you used to see him perform in churches and shit?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen him play
not on Sundays.
I've seen him at like American Legion's Hall with like 100 people. Now we're at Fenway. It's pretty insane.
Crazy.
You know?
Yeah.
Do you know how many people?
I think the pre-sale was like 35,000
That's
for tonight, which is crazy. So this will. Hopefully everyone's in when we play, and we'll see what it's like. But I'm psyched.
You were talking about last time we were out drinking the like long journey of a band you guys had.
Yeah, we all grew up like on the same block as each other, and used to ride our bikes to each other's house for practice and stuff.
But even like when you were talking about the label fucking you over and stuff, like the long journey to get to a place like this.
So even tonight we're playing with Fall Out Boy. Fall Out Boy was how we originally got signed to Universal and Motown.
Really?
And that's how we know them. And
how? How are they the reason?
Pete Wentz found us playing at like Legion halls and stuff, and
really?
we had just put out our first like real record, and signed us to his like little imprint label, and then we got switched over to Motown after that.
Wait, that was your like origin? That was your first?
Yeah, like after we did like a cycle on one record, and then like 2-3 years, and then he ended up finding us somehow.
That's crazy full circle moment.
Yeah, so it's cool to be back
And then
here.
what happened for people listening?
We got signed to Universal and Motown, and right before we put our record out, the Motown folded as a label, so everyone got fired. Our A&R person got fired, so we got switched over to Universal Republic, which we got put on a roster of an A&R guy that didn't give a shit about us because he didn't sign us, and then sort of just put on the back burner, and that was kind of the end of our band for 2-3 years.
You guys broke up?
Not officially, but we didn't really tour. We put out a record we hated with pressure from that label and management, and it ended up being for the best, and it ended up getting us out of our deal with them, and then came back and started doing stuff again, and got picked up by the label we're still on, which is Pure Noise, which is out of California, just as independent.
Yeah.
And they sort of didn't give a shit as far as like, they're not involved in a creative process, which I don't think any label should be involved in a creative process.
Are most labels involved in the creative process?
No, I think only once you get to Atlantic, Universal, Island, any of them.
You don't think those are beneficial anymore? Being on a major
You can
label?
record records at your house. You don't need $100,000 to make a record anymore. And I think like some of the projects that, again, like Kip, I like grew up listening to a fair amount of hip hop, but not. I guess I was stuck in listening to the same stuff for the last very long time until a few years ago. He started showing me a ton of new artists, and it just sort of like opened my eyes to like, it's a very similar scene to what we grew up in as far as like, there's so much more happening and there's so much involvement with a bunch of artists that I think it was, for me, it was cool to see like a relation to what I do. And then just how many artists, once he opened the door for me, I just kept finding people, and it's just been like, I don't know, just got super, super.
Well, did you guys see what you had in each other early? Like, people don't know, this is West Side Gun's new favorite artist. Like,
that's why, again,
his shit's crazy. And you weren't even painting when you were growing up.
No, well, here and there, but not like I do now.
Yeah. And you're playing Fenway, like.
Oh, seeing his stuff from like even 2 years ago compared to now is like crazy to me. I don't know.
I have the first piece of art you gave me. It was like drawn with markers.
Or like the flash sheet you did for Crime Apple.
Yeah.
And then seeing some of the pieces that you have coming out for the cookout, I can't wait for people to see his stuff. So.
Yeah, no one has upgraded their style more than you, I don't think. Like,
dude, I feel like you've adapted your stuff like every 2 months. It's just like insane. Like there's like another breakthrough for you, but like this new style, like he hasn't even been posting any of like the new stuff. So I can't wait for you to start like actually showing people.
How do you know when evolution is coming in your style?
Honestly, I have no idea. Like sometimes I just like
Dude,
with the palette night stuff, I just kind of started experimenting it, and then like something will click when I'm doing it. Like he was about to say, like the Mona Lisa one I did. We had gone out on
a Tuesday.
Tuesday nights our drinking night. That's where the name comes from. And we had gone out on a Tuesday and probably had a little extra. And I had did like a rough sketch of that earlier in the day, and then we got home at like 3 a.m, and I just stayed up till like 5 and just did that. Woke up, barely remembered I did it. Like went down to the basement where I was painting. I was just like, holy shit, I think I did something. And then I showed Joe the picture. He's like, you did that last night? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what happened.
Where do you think your creative process comes from? Like, if you're blackout drunk, you don't know where it comes. Like, where do you think your art
Well, I
comes
think
from?
that one, it was more just because I was drunk. I just kind of let loose with it. I wasn't trying to like get in between lines or like figure out anything. I was just like, this looks good, and it was more like a lot more free with it. Well, motivation comes from, like a lot of it music. If I hear a song and I like hear a line from a song or something, I'm like, oh, I want to paint this, or I see a cover that I want to flip, or it'll come from anywhere,
How do you find your muse?
I don't know. Our whole process is absolutely insane. Again, also it's like it's weird being in a band with people we've been a band for 22 years. And growing up like basically on the same block as each other and stuff. So it's like sibling relationship where you got like, I don't know.
But what is y'all's process?
Starts out as like Alan and Dan, the other two dudes, usually will like come up with a riff or something like that, and then it's just like a trickling, and like especially in the more recent years, we've been on tour way more, so it's like harder to find time to all sit together like in a band space or something like that. But like typically back in the day, we used to just every day after school and do that shit and like go hang out in one of our parents' basements, and all we gave a shit about was playing. So it was just kind of every day, and you just work on stuff a little bit more.
How many bands do you think folded when Motown folded?
Oh my God, I don't know. It was the entire label ended, so it was like, now there's still Motown exists, but it's a catalog label, so they're putting out stuff from the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
And like,
but I mean, like, it's crazy that you guys stuck with it, because I feel like probably a lot of bands didn't get back together after something like that happened.
Yeah, I think we're like, none of us are like confrontation that much amongst each other and shit. So I feel like it was a lot of just like we just didn't say anything. So we weren't like putting a hard end on the band or anything like that. So it was kind of just like we didn't say anything and just disappeared for a while, and then sort of just started hanging out again and recording and just for fun. And
we've kind of had this talk before though, where like sticking together was kind of your thing anyways. Like why a lot of bands don't make it is because they don't stick together.
Yeah.
You know, even before you made it at all, you know, like.
And all four of us have been in it the whole time, which is, I feel like, rare, especially after 20 years.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard for people to make a decision like that. Like to stick to something, whether it be like a relationship or a friendship or a profession. It's like hard to be like, this is the thing I'm going to do for the rest of my life, no matter what.
Well, that and just like with the same people.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, like, I don't have any brothers. But
yeah, we're both only children.
Yeah, but if I did, I would imagine this is what it is like. And like, I'm sure I piss them off a ton. They piss us off. Like, it's just like, I don't know. So it's a weird relationship over the years and stuff like that. But to end up here today is very, very cool.
What type of kid was he?
I mean, I didn't really know him till,
I used to sleep on his couch for like a couple years. From apartment to apartment, like I'd come home from tour and just end up on his couch.
Wait, where did you guys meet? Yeah.
I had like mutual friends,
Yeah.
so he'd come over the apartment like to see them, and then we just kind of started hitting it off. And then we kept chilling. Like a year or two later, he asked me to go on tour with them, their first Warped Tour.
Shit.
Why?
Just from hanging out and stuff.
Yeah.
Which I feel horrible about, and it ended up being like the most horrible, punishing thing for the boy.
Why was Warped Tour so bad?
Well, because a lot of the venues were like on a big like sand pit, so we'd have to carry the equipment through football fields of sand to get to like a stage.
Yeah, just terrible.
Was it like early Warped
But
Tour?
we didn't know either. That was our first experience with it, so we
in
had
like
no idea.
Miami in the summer. Like,
I feel like Warped Tour has to be... All the people who go to Warped Tour covered in like face paint and fucking makeup, and they're wearing crazy fucking big frilly outfits.
This is the elderly version
Yeah,
of
they're not the type to go walk through the sand and the heat.
I don't know. But
I do see people at like more screamo shows, and I'm like, what do you do in real life?
I
Like,
don't
where
know.
are
Like,
you?
yeah, you do
Where
not
are
dress
you?
like this.
Yeah, where
your
are you
day-to-day
in
life.
normal life? It's like drag in a way. It's like you
insane,
have to. Wait, so Warped Tour, you were just dragging shit through the sand.
I had a fun time.
Yeah.
Like,
We definitely.
it was just moments of punishment, and then the rest of it was awesome. Like,
You've been to more rap shit. Are rock shows or rap shows crazier?
I mean, it depends on the show. I mean, this is pretty fucking wild, but like,
No, I mean like crazy shit happening.
I mean, the crowd's usually crazier at a rock show. I mean,
People do the stupidest shit.
yeah.
What's some crazy shit that's happened at your shows?
I mean, I remember at the video shoot for Heroes, people were jumping off the
jumping off the
balcony
balconies
upstairs
and shit,
Palladium. Like, it's like, what, 20 feet? Like,
Yeah.
and I don't
onto
mean
people.
and I don't mean like one person. I mean like lines of people jumping off.
Oh,
Like,
really?
pencil diving off onto people. It was insane. But
Do people try to get crazy backstage at rock shows?
no. So
Like,
for
do
me,
you-
that was the difference. Going to shows with him for the first time, and like I just felt super uncomfortable going backstage. Like even at the like
Yeah, I'll invite you
Rome-
backstage
yeah, like
and you
Rome-
won't
or like
want to
the-
do it.
Rome Street show at Babies.
yeah, in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah, I thought you were talking about the break
Like going
music.
back
Oh,
there
right.
and like, I don't know him. Like I know you both like know people, so I felt like super awkward.
Yeah.
Like just.
Well, even
where-
when you asked him to go to the one in Boston, he was like, "No, I'll just wait."
Yeah, I ended up
Yeah.
standing out in the rain while you guys were sitting up in the.
But
green
you're
room.
in the industry.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I'll go to a green room with you guys, and then I'm like, oh shit, there's like 30 people in
But the
here.
green
like,
room's here, there's no one there.
No, like I don't know. Like, us, we're just like all super quiet and mellow before we play and stuff.
And you guys are a little like older and more mature. Because I'm thinking like, are there hella groupies trying to get
Hell
it?
no.
Yeah, no.
Look at us.
You're like, I own a coffee shop.
Exciting times.
That is awesome how you've been able to expand. I don't know how either of you do what you do, and have full-time jobs and do other shit.
This doing the Tuesday night stuff is like very very excited to like that we finally did this new release, like our first release. And like since we started talking about this, he ended up buying a house directly next door to my house. So we're
You guys share a driveway.
Share a driveway. We're next door neighbors.
What other releases do you guys have coming?
Next up is Ja King and Avi Darko.
Yeah.
Fear and Loathing, which I'm really excited for. I don't know.
We're supposed to be doing one with Bub Styles.
Shout out Bub Styles.
Yeah, hopefully that comes together soon. But it looks like it's gonna happen, so.
What do you wish you knew going in as like a young musician?
That's a fucking hard question. I don't know. There's so much shit. I feel like mostly just.
Or as a young creative, I'm not even asking how to start a band. I'm asking for myself. Like,
don't
what
necessarily
advice would you
also always listen to people that have a financial interest in what you're doing. As far as, I mean, there's obviously a lot of people, which is a fucked up thing to say as we're putting out records for people, but I feel like there's people that want to, maybe don't necessarily have your best interests at heart, where like, even through this road, we've met a lot of people though that have gone really, really far out of their way to sort of help us without gaining too much from it. And I don't know, like that's speaking for me and I'm sure him, like our whole interest in this was just putting out records that maybe weren't gonna come out, or just stuff we were super excited about, and like just to be involved in the project. And
yeah, like Meta, we didn't care about like making anything. We were just like, I just want to see my shit on fucking vinyl and put out something dope that wasn't getting put out.
And to have your artwork.
Yeah.
Can I ask how how do you feel about West Side Gun saying you're like the next big artist?
Well, I mean, I didn't actually hear him say that, but
he said that to DJ Tay James.
Yeah.
Shout out DJ Tay James. Justin Bieber's A&R and DJ. This is his favorite artist right here.
I mean, shit like that always is pretty fucking cool, you know, like, you know me, I'm pretty humble about shit. Like, I don't feel that I'm as good as, like, you would tell me I am. Like, when you say I'm your favorite artist, I'm like... Oh,
yeah, but that's why your stuff keeps evolving. I feel like you're, like, again, over 2 years seeing the progression you made.
If you're happy with your shit, you're not going to want to grow it.
Yeah.
You kind of have to hate your shit, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
How do you, can you tell me the story of how the Lisa came about?
That one, Westside just hit me up, and he was like, he's like, oh, I need you to do some art for me. He's like, can you? And I was like, I've been waiting for this since I started drawing. I was like, of course. I was hoping he wanted like a painting or something, but he kind of told me the idea he had for the Lisa thing, so I stopped working, went home, and like did it in like an hour and sent it back to him. And he's like, damn, that was quick. And he's like, can you try this? And I was like, I sent him like 3 more versions in like 20 minutes because I was just like, I wanted to be on top of it.
Yeah.
And he didn't really tell me what it was for or anything. He was just like, all right, I'll let you know. And then like months later, he hit me up to like email some files or some shit. And I was like, oh, looks like he might do something with it, so.
And then you got picked for the merch.
Yeah. And I've given him some other paintings that I haven't shown anyone that I'm pretty stoked on. So hopefully maybe something can come with those.
Do you feel fulfilled in art when something like that happens?
Kind of. Me and you also talked about this, like you thought you would, like when you got the interview with him, but you're like immediately like, what's next?
Yeah.
Like I need to do something better than that now. So you're almost like harder on yourself. You're like, all right, I need to figure this out. Like I can't just stop painting. You know?
Yeah. Do you feel fulfilled playing in a place like this?
Yeah, this is cool. So now, again, it was the same, like, we just talked about this. I'm like, I feel like the last, like, place for us in, like, Massachusetts to, like, check off the, like, dream list is, like, Gillette Stadium. So, like, we'll see. Hopefully it'd be cool to do something like that in the future, so.
Yeah. When did the nerves leave? When did you just be like, I don't feel nerves anymore?
Once I realized if you drink enough Jameson, the right amount just takes it away.
How much is the right amount of Jameson?
It used to be different for me. I'm trying to be a good boy now. So like I wait till like 45 minutes before we play. Then I'll usually do like 2 or 3 shots right before we play. Sets like almost the perfect level. which is nice.
That's me with smoking. Like, people don't smoke before they get on stage, but I
would fucking freak out.
I need that level of, like, smoking makes it like you don't give a fuck.
Yeah, not for me.
No, I'll strongly agree with that.
Yeah, you can't
I wouldn't
smoke.
be doing this interview if we had smoked before.
Yeah, Kip can't smoke at all. Every time I've offered you a hit and you've taken it.
I was worried about getting high on the ride here because you were smoking so much. I'm like, fuck, I hope I don't end up high.
I smoked one joint. I smoked one joint on the ride here. I didn't hotbox you in the car. That's so funny. Yeah, so you guys, what is the plans for Tuesday night? What is your...
Honestly, I feel like it's just going to be kind of roll with the punches sort of thing. Like, we had an idea going in where we wanted to, like, I think, not just work... we didn't want to be a record label. It's more just, like, I guess, artist services, like, where help put physical music out for people we are really into, and then also just even... like other artists, like not music, like painting or whatever it might be, and just like figure out like silkscreen prints, like do that sort of stuff, do collaborations with artists, and then clothing, just sort of a whole mix of stuff that we've been interested in. And
out of Worcester.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's crazy how much is coming out of Mass right now.
Fucking awesome.
It's really cool. It's like the first time there's been a real like surge, you know?
Yeah.
It's nice not like... It's also nice that you can do anything anywhere. Like, a lot of the labels are in Europe and shit. And we're in Worcester and Fitchburg are middle of nowhere, Massachusetts at the end of the day. You know, like...
Yeah.
I think that was another thing, too, that, like, from us buying records, seeing what you, like, pre-order a record and you don't get it for 6 months, 7 months. Like, that's insane. Where, like, our turnaround time, we're trying to, like, again, like, seeing people's responses to, like, the finally getting the Meta release. It's like, we had it, they bought it, and it was on their record player in Europe in under 7 days. Like, we were just,
That's
like,
crazy.
just trying to, like, have this shit, like...
But the response from it was crazy. Almost every person who like got one hit us up and was like, yo, I can't believe I have this already. And we're like, oh, we're glad you're happy. You know, that's kind of the point.
And I just saw it. It looks beautiful.
I'm super pumped
It looks
about
beautiful.
Thank you.
So,
This I wanted to keep this short because you're literally about to go perform,
Yeah.
and we're right next to the pyrotechnics on the Green
Yeah.
Monster. We are on the Green Monster doing a podcast with Tuesday Night. It's crazy, right? This is wild.
fucking psyched.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
What would you tell yourself when you started doing art? Like right now.
Just keep going. Don't get discouraged. You know, like I didn't get a cover until the Eddie shit. You know what I mean? Like it took 2 years to get even a cover, and then when I did it, I was like, sick. I got my first vinyl. It didn't come out on vinyl, but I kept going, and then I put the vinyl out myself. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just keep doing shit, you know, and eventually it's gonna work out. Especially if you really love it, you know, like we're doing something we love. Like this Tuesday night shit, you ask like how we can do it on top of working full-time jobs. He's in a band, he tours, he owns a coffee shop. But like when we get out of work, this doesn't seem like work. It's like we get together and we're just shooting ideas over a drink or something. Like, oh, you know, it would be awesome if we do this. We got to figure out how to bring this to life. Like, so it's not. This doesn't feel like work. It's more like exciting. It's fun. Like,
How about you?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, I feel like there's been a lot of like emotional highs and lows and stuff, and just like it's like, again, I've done it for my band for years as well, but we've always had label help, so like being on the other side of this has been a little more nerve-wracking, and just like seeing how much shit goes into literally putting out one record and one cassette. But I mean, even just this process, we learned so much, and like we're just super excited to keep working with people, and I don't know, just see where it goes.
And you still have passion. You still want to grow, which is dope. Both of you.
If we didn't after Project One, we're in the wrong thing. Yeah.
But I'm talking about in life.
Oh yeah.
In life, you're not like, fuck music.
No,
You're like,
hell
no,
no.
I want to keep this.
No, this was cool
I
shit.
want to keep expanding the world of it.
For sure.
Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you for putting this together and allowing this to happen.
Oh, My pleasure, and sorry we're the most awkward people in the entire world.
We're sitting so close to each other right now. I don't think people understand. I can smell both of them.
Yeah.
No, for real. It doesn't matter anything other than we actually did this. That's an honor, so thank you. Thank you.
Of course, brother.
Anything you want to plug?
No.
Tuesday night, where can they find you?
Tuesday night on Instagram.
Tuesday
NYT.
night. TuesdayNYT.com.
There you go.
Thank you guys.